Hi, and welcome back to Poltergeist Board Games. Today we are going to be doing a game review of Close the Atlantic by Mike Raymond and produced by Blue Panther Games. This is a fictional World War III game. It is solitaire, also 2-player, and also 4-player. So before we get into that, a word from my sponsor, 3 Arrows Games in Carson City, Nevada. Thank you, 3 Arrows Games, for your support. If you ever are in need of any board gaming supplies, like sleeves for cards or dice towers, they have what you need. You can go there to get the latest in board games. You can also order online and use the word ghost for 10% off of 50. So head on down to their website. I'll include it in the description, and order a new board game. So again, thank you 3 Arrows Games for your support in Carson City, Nevada. Okay, back to our review. This is, like I said, a solitaire, also 2-player, and can also be a 4-player game, which would be the use of like vice admirals. So the player would have their, ships, and then they would delegate other ships for someone else to use. This is naval warfare. It also incorporates some aircraft, like fighters and bombers, and then you also have missiles. You have sub-based missiles, and also ship-based missiles that can be fired. There's also nuclear weapons as a last resort that can be used. The object of the game is to move supplies and move the beachhead, or the front line. You want to move into, NATO needs to move it into Russia, and Russia needs to move it over to North America. So you have to take convoys across to European ports. Meanwhile, the Soviets are going to be mining ports, and you have to take out their subs and their ships, while also trying to escort convoys across the ocean. There are satellites used to detect movement and things like that. The basis of the game is when you place a unit in an area, and say the Soviet sub was placed, and NATO player places their sub or ship. There's this player, the Soviet player, will get to detect this player, and if successful, they will start to create a firing solution, and this sub will get a chance to evade. If they evade, they're successful in evading, they lose contact. If they're not successful, the submarine can fire torpedoes at the other sub. So it's detecting and reacting kind of impulses that you play in this game. The rulebook, I had some issues with. Number one, there was no index, which I think every rulebook, there's a lot of rulebooks that don't have an index, but I think every rulebook should have an index, because there's always something that you spend, 15 minutes, looking through the rule book for, you've seen it before, but you can't find it. Stacking rule. I didn't see anything about a stacking rule. I don't know if there is one. I know the ocean is, huge, but can you pile, 20 ships in one sea zone? I don't know if there's a stacking limit. I think there needs to be an explanation, the difference between active sonar and passive sonar, because the terminology is used a lot in the book, in the rule book. American, British, and French subs are nuclear. And then there's a part in the book where you roll to determine if the sub is diesel or not. But you don't have a way to identify a diesel sub versus a nuclear sub, because they just look like, they just say attack sub or boomer. So it's like, okay, well, how do I tell that this is an American, French, or British sub that's nuclear? Or is this, from somewhere else? There's no way to really tell that. Torpedoes. There's two ways that can be fired: wire guided or sonar guided. So how do you declare that? Do you say, I'm firing 4 wire guided torpedoes, or I'm firing 4 sonar guided torpedoes? That's not really specified. There's no marker or anything that differentiates torpedoes. There's no torpedo marker at all, but there's no way to really identify which one you're firing. And there's different dive rolls for each. So, altogether, the play, I think, as a solitaire game, I don't think it's quite a solitaire game, because it's very, I think, difficult to try to play it where you start off and you're putting pieces out one by one. Another thing is that there's no limit to how many pieces you can put out. The first round you could put every piece on every ship on the map if you want. It's just dependent on how many ships you want to put out. So there's not like a clear rule on that, where how many ships you want to do or whatever. But the solitaire, so it's kind of like, you just, okay, well, I'm going to put a sub here for the Soviets. I'll have them do that. And then, so NATO will counter that by putting a sub in there. It's like you already know what the Soviets' plan of action is. So there's no real strategy. I'm thinking something, maybe chip pool, would be a good thing to do here. That way you could, okay, I get a sub, or I get a carrier group or whatever. There's a rule that you can't put any other ships, only subs out for the Soviets until the 10th turn. So you have to have this big wall of frigates and cruisers and carrier groups. So I don't know. I just think like a chip pool system would be a good idea for that. I think two-player game. I think a two-player game would be spectacular, and especially when you get all the air groups involved and ASW helos, about tracking submarines and things like that. I think it would get really interesting. But I really think this is more of a two-player game. So I would give this game, I think the components are excellent. I love these laser cut components. They're very, very nice and thick. And the map is canvas. And I like these canvas maps that Blue Panther is doing. They're very nice. And I highly recommend the canvas map versus a paper map. So my final rating for this is a 3 out of 5. So if you played this, let me know how you liked it. And if you want to see the unboxing and see all the components up close, go to my channel, and it's about 2 videos back, and you'll see that. So thank you so much, as always, for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.